How do you achieve that perfect work-life balance? We can't. I used to be on this constant chase for that perfect work-life balance between work, my kids, spending quality family time, keeping on top of chores, doing all the life admin, and just everything life throws at you. And while there's no perfect balance here, there are a few tiny habits I've started incorporating that I think help me achieve a better life balance. Not perfect by any means, but it just works better for me, for us as a family, and it's helped me be more calm and intentional with my time. Except the perfect work-life balance doesn't exist. Just constantly feeling like if I just find the right schedule or the right organizational system for our family, then I'll have the perfect balance. And that's just not true. In the book, The One Thing, it mentions how there's no such thing, and the balance will always lean towards one or the other a bit more. And it's very likely that our lives will look a lot more like a zigzag than a perfect balance. So I do have days when I maybe focus more on work, and I have days where I focus more on the kids and our family. And trying to put ourselves down and feel guilty about it, it's just unhelpful. We are all trying our best, and I think especially as parents or moms, we do so much in a day, and I think if we sat down and put everything we do in a day in a list, we would be surprised at how much we actually accomplish and all the little things we do for not just ourselves, but also for our family, for our kids, for our jobs. We just pour so much out of us in a day. And in the book, The One Thing, it's mentioned how the term work-life balance wasn't actually even coined until the mid-1980s, when more than half of all married women joined the workforce. So as a society, we went from having one person who's the breadwinner, usually the man who goes to work, and then the woman who stays home and takes care of the household and the children. We went from women also joining the workforce. And I think we all know, especially in the beginning days, even though there were two breadwinners in the household, who got to do the housework and the kids' work? Usually the women. Obviously, things are changing now, and I see a lot of dads getting involved in, raising the children and taking care of the household, because at the end of the day, it's a whole family living there. And what we're trying to do and to also instill in our children is that everybody needs to contribute to the household. Everybody does their little bit, obviously according to their age, but we all work together to keep this space a nice one to live in. So if there's one thing I took from this, is that there is no perfect balance, and it's really important to be kind to ourselves. We only have so many hours in our day, and we're trying to do so much. We're trying our best to balance things as best we can. So I think sometimes it's important to give ourselves grace and to realize that actually we're doing a lot, and I'm willing to bet today you're gonna do a lot more than you think. Slow down. I've been really trying to make this more of a habit to slow down in my days. And when I'm doing something, like when I'm filming a video, to not have to be super rushed, get it done, check it off my list, move on to the next thing. I'm trying my best to just slow down and enjoy the process, because I do enjoy filming videos. I don't enjoy doing them rushed, but I do enjoy sitting down and chatting to you. So I'm really trying to focus on what I love to do and slow down on my daily tasks. And one thing I've been really enjoying doing here is slowing down when I'm doing my cooking or even trying a bit more baking. And I've been testing Craftsy for this. Thanks to Craftsy for sponsoring this part of the video. Craftsy is the online source for all things creative. It's an online community of creatives and makers who want to advance their skill or even just discover a new hobby. Craftsy offers over 2,000 classes on lots of different categories like cooking and baking, knitting, and so much more. And these are all perfect whether you're a beginner or whether you're advanced in that craft. One class that caught my eye and I've been going through is Giuliano's pasta sauces class. I love a bit of Italian cooking, so I've been really diving into this. And I thought it was interesting. He mentions how Italy has 20 regions and each one has its own different cuisine. So they all cook dishes slightly differently. And I bet in none of those 20 regions do they break their spaghetti in half like I do. If you want to give Craftsy a try, the first 1,000 of my subscribers who click the link in the description box will get a full year of premium membership of Craftsy for only $1.49. Cheers, Craftsy! Balance clutter and having kids. This is one thing that I used to tell myself, that I'm a mom, I have kids, my house is just gonna be a complete disaster. It's completely normal to have, tons and tons of toys thrown around everywhere. And while, yes, there is a certain truth to that. Like, obviously my kids will play, there will be toys on the floor. That is the daily layer of, messiness, the daily layer of things they take out and play with. But the clutter that was beneath that, all of the random stuff, the random piles, the things stuffed in cupboards, that was not my kids, that was us. So what I have found in trying to kind of maintain a household that's clutter-free, even though I have kids and I want to keep them entertained, is that I just really needed to do a big declutter and to get rid of all that underlayer of clutter that was not my kids doing. That was just like piles of clothes that I had excessively bought and tons of knickknacks and home decor items that I had bought again. And yes, some of the toys as well, because they did have so many toys that they didn't really play with, they didn't really need. But for me, it was really important to accept that, yes, I have kids, this is my situation, and obviously my house is not going to be as perfectly tidy, always perfectly clean as compared to someone who doesn't have kids. But that doesn't mean I don't have any say or any control in this. And getting rid of the clutter was something I did that massively improved our life. And I also found through this that actually kids need a lot less than we think they do. They play so much more sometimes with a box that we got a parcel in than all of the other toys that they have. I still remember last year I went to a soft play with my baby, and there was a mom there. I was chatting to her, and her little boy was playing with this big like toy walker thing, and she was saying, I have the exact same toy like toddler walker at home and he never touches it, but whenever we come to this soft play, he always plays with it. So for me, it was just a good reminder that, even though sometimes we try to fill our homes with lots of toys to keep them entertained, and that's what I used to do too, even though we do that, they're not gonna play with them on their own for hours and hours at home. Even though on the box the toy comes in, says hours of fun, they usually still need you. They usually still need us to have as company, to play with. They need to get creative and spend time outdoors. And I have found that actually having less toys is a lot more helpful in this matter. Track your hours. And something that's been helpful is to try the 24-hour rule. It doesn't have to be 24 hours. You can do it over multiple days, which is what I have done. But for 24 hours, write hour by hour whatever you do in that hour. I tried this myself. So I wrote down when in the morning, when we woke up, when I fed the kids breakfast, when we took them to school and nursery, when I came home to film my video, had lunch, when I was scrolling on Instagram aimlessly because I said, oh, I'll just go on there to post my Instagram reel, and then I end up scrolling for another hour. And what I have found through doing this, I wanted to see what are the times of day when I can squeeze in maybe some tasks like admin tasks or answering emails. So instead of scrolling Instagram, I can get some work done, or replying to comments, or just doing the little tasks that I want to get done in a day. How can I optimize my schedule, find those pockets of time? Not that we have to be productive 24/7, but it can also mean we can find pockets of time to schedule in a running session, which I like to do, or reading my book. Because I used to always say, oh, I just don't have time for that. But when I looked at my schedule, actually, I could find time for a lot of the little things that I want to do. Not every day, but it's just being more intentional with our time, because at the end of the day, it's the most precious thing we have. Make it fun. This is something I learned in the Feel Good Productivity book by Ali Abdaal, who, if you don't know, he's the productivity go-to expert. And one thing that really stuck with me from his book is that we have a lot of tasks we need to do in our day that we procrastinate on. And then we put ourselves down because of that. But the truth is, we don't always need just more motivation to get that task done. But instead, what's really helpful is to find ways to make it fun, find ways to make it attractive, and for it to be a more enjoyable experience rather than something we kind of have to drag ourselves to do. So whether that's making work more fun, like for example, when I'm editing a video, sometimes I will put something in the background, like I'll have Grey's Anatomy or Friends. Not that I'm actually like actively watching, but it makes the experience more fun. And I try to do the same with decluttering. I might put some music in the background, maybe reward myself at the end, and just make the experience more fun, because then I'm more likely to do it again in the future and for it to actually become a habit that improves my life in time. Track your sleep. This is something I've been doing using my Fitbit, and I don't wear it every single night for sleep, but it's really helped me go from shocking sleep to decent sleep. Now that we're out of the newborn phase, where you have incredibly broken sleep and it's just shocking to look on your Fitbit and see how little sleep you got in a night, but we're out of that phase, we're into the toddler years, and It's not like she's got perfect sleep every single night. It's still unpredictable. And there are lots of things I can't control about my sleep. Like, I can't control how many times my kids wake up. I can't control the time they go to sleep always. I can't control the times they wake up, like when she woke up at 5 a.m. this morning. I also can't control if they're teething or waking up a lot at night for some reason. But there are some things I can change and move around, some things I can control to ensure that I have a better night's sleep. Not a perfect one, but just better. And that is the time that I go to bed. So I have learned that obviously the later I go to bed, the more tired I'm gonna be the next day, because my kids will still wake up at 5 or 6 a.m. So the earlier I go to sleep, the better I will feel the next day. I will have more energy for my kids and for my business, for my work, for everything I want to do in my day. And it will just put me in a better mood, because trust me, I get grumpy when I'm sleep deprived. So tracking my sleep has really helped me realize, okay, if I go to bed at this time, like 11 o'clock, it's gonna be way too late because I'm only gonna get maybe 6 hours of sleep. And so I know it sounds really early, but I try to go upstairs to bed at around 9, just go upstairs. It takes me a while to actually fall asleep, but the earlier I start the process, the earlier I go to bed, the earlier I actually fall asleep, and the better I will feel the next day. And it's just a small thing that can really help us out. Incorporate some form of daily exercise. Now, I used to look at exercise as something really annoying that I just had to do. But then I realized actually I can simply go and choose the things I do enjoy doing and just add more of those in my day. I don't have to go training at the gym if I don't want to. I don't have to do intense workouts if that's not for me. But for example, what we try to do is to walk on the school run rather than always take the car. And we have 4 school runs in a day. So yeah, sometimes I'll take the car, but I try to make sure at least once a day I go out for a walk as well. A few years ago, I discovered that I actually really enjoy running. So I've been doing a lot more of that, but that's something I've added to my week. And sometimes I'll just do a quick morning workout in the living room before we start our day, depending on the time my kids wake up. Let me know what habits you've tried that help you with your life balance. I hope this was helpful, and I will see you in the next one.